Constable Blaine Stadoka joins us for this edition of Cop Beat, and today we're talking about safe winter driving, very appropriate for this time of year. We've had some crazy winter weather. So, Constable Stadoka, what are some tips when you're on the road? How can you be as safe as possible?
Well, the main thing is when you're starting off, make sure you let your car warm up if it's not inside, and making sure that your windows are clear. That's the number one thing. If your windows aren't clear, then that doesn't make it very safe to go out on the road. That's the number one thing you need to start with. So give your vehicle some time to warm up to make sure the windows are totally clear and that you can see safely wherever you're going. The next thing is to, of course, if the roads are slippery or whatnot, you want to make sure that you slow it down. That's the number one thing that you need to do there, is to make sure that you're going slow and keeping enough distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. Okay. Another thing that you need to do is the reason why you want the distance between you and the other, you want to allow yourself more time to slow down or to stop. So, and then of course, if you are braking, well, then if you start to skid, you want to make sure that you don't just jam on the brakes. A lot of vehicles nowadays have the anti-lock brakes, but at the same time, you don't want to be jamming on the brakes and going into a more worse of a skid or whatever you may be sliding out of control.
And do you think people realize too that during the day, driving the roads may be, we may get one of those beautiful Chinooks and the ice may be melting, but then overnight it may be freezing. Do you think people realize how important it is in the morning, on that morning commute, the conditions may be different than they were that evening? Yes,
absolutely. Today is a prime example of that. We had some very mild weather yesterday, and then it froze overnight, and you had the melting snow, the ice and all that. Definitely you have to be aware of that as well. And even if it's sanded and plowed, you still have to be careful because there may be some light residue ice on the road as well. So be careful of that as well. Make sure that, again, you're slowing down and that you keep enough distance.
And are you finding that conditions are sometimes different on the highway than even in the city? It can be more icy in the city than on the highways?
Yes, that is definitely something that is common as well. Often the higher speeds on the highway clears the roads a little bit easier. In the city, the speeds are a little bit slower, and the stuff gets packed and the snow gets packed and whatnot. So yeah, definitely something that you have to watch out for as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Constable Stadoka, for joining us for this week's edition of Cop Beat. Stay safe when driving in the winter season.